SwimOutlet.com delivers the best online shopping experience. With an extensive selection and the lowest prices, you're guaranteed to find the product you need. Here's what you get. Free shipping on all orders over $49. Free 1 to 2 day shipping on all orders over $99. All orders placed by 6 p.m. ship out the same day. Shop at SwimOutlet.com, the web's most popular swim shop.
This is Raceday, sponsored by SwimOutlet.com on Swimming World TV, coming to you from Day 2 finals here in Omaha of the USA Swimming Trials. I'm Tiffany Elias, joined by John Lone and Jeff Cummings, and we're going to start off with our swim of the night. John, how was it on your side?
For me, and I'll be the first to admit it's a little biased, I've been covering Brendan Hansen since he was a 9th grade student in suburban Philadelphia. For him to come in here tonight and take a third Olympic bid off of a comeback that's 18 months in the making, and to see him how elated he was, how happy he was. I haven't seen Brendan like that in years, and that was just terrific to see. 4th fastest time in the world, 59.68. He's going to be a player in London.
Well, I think what was great about him, what he said in his post-interview was, I said I was going to come back, and I did. So it's one thing when you make a really bold statement like that, so he followed through.
And the nice thing is, 4 years ago here, and he said this a couple times this week, he didn't even want to be here. He was done with the sport. He was burned out, and some of that might have had to do with not taking a break after Athens. And Jeff, you would know. I mean, you might need that break. Am I right? Just to recharge the battery. What's your take there?
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people chided Michael Phelps for doing that after Beijing, but I mean, he's come back a little bit fresher. So yeah, and a lot of people probably felt like because he didn't win in Athens, it was okay for him to come back because he had a lot to prove and a lot to do, and that probably was weighing heavily on him, and it just got heavier and heavier up to 2008 to the point where he probably couldn't take anymore. So yeah, he probably needed a little bit of time off.
Now there's a bounce in his step that has been missing.
I did notice that.
I think the momentum he's going to carry into the 200 is just gigantic.
Yeah.
Now, how about your swim of the night, Jeff?
Well, it has to be Claire Donahue in that 100 fly. I was, for the first 25, I was watching Dana Vollmer, and then for the rest of the race, I was watching Claire, because I was like, whoa, lane 1. Everybody look at lane 1. And I was, you know, I was sitting there, and like the guy next to me was like, who's that in lane 1? I said, it's a swimmer from Western Kentucky University, which has no major, you know, swimming background, and here's this girl going out fast, turning second at the 50, and I'm like, Claire, this would be a really good story. Hang on, hang on, hang on. And she did. I could not take my eyes off her, and you know, knowing that people like Natalie Coughlin, Christine Magson, and Elaine Breeden were in that heat, you know, the veterans of the Olympic trials, knowing what they had to do, just to see her motor through that second 50 and just almost probably just will herself to get to that wall second was a great story.
And there's two parts of that I really love. Number one, like you mentioned, the Western Kentucky angle. It proves that a non-factory school can produce here. It was a non-Texas, a non-Georgia, not Cal. And the other thing, Claire comes out and swims 57 in her prelims, drops about a second slower in her semifinals. So you have to think, oh boy, which Claire Donahue are we going to see? The pressure's on. This is a girl that stands up to it. You got to love that.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Like you mentioned, it was Dana on top, 56.5, Claire in for second, 57.5, and Kathleen Hersey got that unfortunate third spot, 58.16. But nonetheless, that was really, Dana was completely dominant in that event, but Claire coming in for a great swim.
I guess it's not fair. I mean, we just talked about Claire Donahue, the second place
finisher.
finisher.
Right into that first event.
And now we're looking at Dana Vollmer, who goes 56 mid 3 consecutive times, which the consistency of that, it says a lot. I said last night, I'll say it again, I would like to see her pace herself a little bit more, but the consistency does make a statement. It's an impressive one.
She's got to go out at the Olympics because Sarah Strostrom's known for her back half.
She'll reel her in. Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, Dana knows what she has to do. Probably, though, she does need to kind of maybe not turn on that gear a little that early, but you know, it's a gutsy thing to do, and you know, but she's probably been training for it.
Tale of 200 flies we'll see in London, that's no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, well, that covered event 1. On to the men's semifinal for the 200 breaststroke. It was another showdown between Phelps and Lochte. Lochte coming away just slightly, 146.25, 146.27 for Phelps, and Connor Dwyer got in there for third, so he's yet in another race with a 147.3. I don't know that he'll be in that 1-2 race, but nonetheless, he got in there. And unfortunately, Vanderkay, who had a solid performance yesterday, got that 9th place position.
Yeah, I was kind of, you know, not happy to see that. It was kind of really interesting to see that. You know, it's kind of been one of those givens that Peter Vanderkay is on that 800
Will
freestyle
be in
relay,
there.
and now he's not going to be. I guess he can always still kind of lobby for it because he's going to the Olympics. So the rule is anybody that goes to the Olympics can get on the relay. So maybe he can put up a time trial, but
Makes it that much tougher.
it makes it tougher for him. And so obviously Phelps and Lochte will be there, but third and fourth could be a change in the guard if Ricky Behrens doesn't get in there either. I mean, we can have Connor Dwyer and Matt McLean, which will be great stories for them.
Now, Matt McLean's a terrific story because he bombs out of the 400 free. There's no other way to put it. The guy's the reigning national champ in the event, goes ninth, doesn't even make the final. So that's a nice bounce back by him. Connor Dwyer's on a free ride right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You make the team in the 400 free. Here we
off.
go. Yeah, just roll it.
Yeah.
Now, comparably to Phelps and Lochte's other events, can we expect the 200 free to be up there as exciting, as close to fast marks as these other events, or is the 200 free kind of
This is going to be like the 200 IM later in the week.
Right.
This is kind of the 400 IM was kind of like will Phelps be able to match Lochte, because we didn't know how tested Phelps was in the 400 IM the past few years, but Michael wants to win because he got beaten by Ryan at World Championships. So Michael wants to win. Ryan wants to win too. That semi was just just the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to see tomorrow.
And this event probably fits Michael a little bit better right now in terms of his matchup with Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, moving on to the women's 100 breast semifinals. Sony putting together another stellar performance, 105.82 tonight. Jessica Hardy in for second, 106.88, and Bria Larson still in that third place position, 107.00.
Yeah, it's going to be really good, that final. Just, I guess we should just say Rebecca Sony is going to win, but, Bria Larson, I'm just really happy to see that she can back up what she did this morning and just really say, it's not just a race for first and second.
Yeah, and like you said, to back it up, to say, okay, no, look, she was a little bit slower tonight, but still 107.00. It shows that wasn't a one-hit wonder like we saw. John Christ had a one-hit wonder in the 100 breaststroke going, and then was a second and a half slower at night. So it was good to see her come back and almost solidify herself, really.
Absolutely.
Okay, so assuming Sony gets one of the two positions, we see her move on to London. We asked her in an interview earlier, do you have a goal time in mind? And she said, no time, just want to get my hand on the wall. However, looking ahead at the world record, which is a 104.4 that Jessica Hardy set, how realistic is that?
It's not.
Yeah,
it's
way out. It's way out there. That's one of those records that it will take many years to get.
That's an Ariana Kukor's 200 IM world record that's going to sit, and we'll all be gray by the time that thing goes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the men's 100 breaststroke final. We touched on this a little bit earlier. Brendan Hansen coming away with the win. The only one under a minute, 59.6. Eric Shanto in for second, making that Olympic team, and Kevin Cordes 1:00.05 with third.
Sorry, Jeff.
I've said this for the past year. I said pretty much first through eighth is going to be a dogfight, and I wasn't, until yesterday, I wasn't sure if Brendan had what it took to go under a minute, and then he went under a minute in semis, and I didn't believe anybody else could go under a minute. So I had a feeling second through eight was going to be a dogfight, and just knowing Eric Shanto, having that 200 background, when I saw him even with everybody at the 75, I pretty much knew he was going to get second. And you got to give your hats off though to Kevin Cordes. I mean, just going out under American record pace.
Right.
He did that at. He knows how to get out. He did it at NCAA's.
And that was the only way he was going to be able to be in the mix for that second spot. So you got to give him credit for laying it on the line and saying, hey, here's what I need to do. I'm going to take this thing and push the pace and push it, and if I pay for it later, I pay for it, but nothing to lose, give it a run. The thing that I really loved about Brendan's race was the last 20 meters, that thing was still tight, and then he pulls away. That was like 04 Hansen stuff that we saw in Long Beach when he set both world records. So I was a little uncertain what to expect in the 200 breast later this week. I'm walking away feeling like his chances there are a lot better, and it should be a heck of a showdown with Shanto there.
Yeah, I think Shanto is got to have a big confidence boost that his 100 is feeling good.
Now with Brendan, the veteran, leading the way in the 100, how is that setting us up on a world scale for London?
Well, it puts him fourth in the world. Kitajima's apart from everybody right now, 58.90. There's another world to go before they can catch up with him. The tragedy of Alexander Delon's death changes that whole perspective of the event. But I don't think there's any reason that Brendan can't win the silver medal there. And who knows, maybe this time around, unlike Athens, unlike Beijing, maybe his peak will come in London. That's been the problem, though. How much does he have left to build off of? We'll find out.
And how much is, I think in 2004, just knowing that there was that rivalry with Kitajima, I think that kind of held him back a little bit. And
Consumed him a little.
It consumed him too, and I think maybe he doesn't want to think about that. I think he's just glad to be there, and he's glad
he
to
doesn't care anymore. He's so carefree. It's a different person.
Yeah. Marriage, I think, kind of helped him.
How about that,
too.
huh?
Might change it a little bit.
Yeah.
And on to the women's 400 freestyle final. Allison Schmidt with a dominant performance as we all expected. 4:02. She had it by over half a body length at the 100. Behind her was Chloe Sutton grabbing that second place and out-touching youngster Katie Ledecky for third.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was really counting on Chloe Sutton, because we kept talking about Katie Ledecky doing so well. She's going to be the rising star of the middle distance freestyle and the distance freestyles. And here comes Chloe Sutton, just saying, look, here I am too.
This was a perfect example of managing your day really well, where Chloe she saved it for tonight. She didn't overexert anything. And I'm not saying Ledecky didn't manage her day, but that was a veteran move by Chloe, not showing the whole cards this morning. Terrific effort. At the same time, now you look at Sutton and Ledecky for that 800 freestyle. That's Ledecky's better event.
Yeah, and it's Chloe's better event,
and
too.
It's Chloe's better event. The thing is, does Allison Schmidt swim it? That's one of those ones that's up in the air, and right now I'd probably say no, she's probably going to go 1-2-4.
Yeah.
But if you just throw it out there, give it a run, see what happens.
She's feeling good.
Yeah, why not?
She can swim in the trials, and if she doesn't feel comfortable with it, she just say, I don't want to do it.
Right.
Right, well, moving on to the men's 100 backstroke semifinal. Grievers was still on top, just over his mark that he went earlier this morning, 53-1. But he had a lot of other guys joining him in the 53 range. David Plummer came in for second, Nick Thoman for third, and also joining him in that top 8 for finals tomorrow is going to be the young guys, Jack and Ryan.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with the way Jack Conger and Ryan Murphy swam. I mean, they swam like veterans. And that just shows a lot of confidence that these two have. I talked with Ryan after the race, and he basically says, I don't expect to make the Olympic team. And I kind of looked at him and was like, but what? I mean, you're basically right in the thick of it here, and I think that's the way you need to go into it, though, and I think that's a really smart move. After a few seconds of kind of process, like, yeah, that's probably a good thing to go into this, is like not expecting it.
Now tell me if I'm nuts here, and it's fine if you want to go that way. Ryan Murphy goes 53.76. He's a 200 backstroker. He's not even known for his 100 back. Can he give Tyler Clary a run for the second spot behind Lochte in the 200 back?
I think he will. I think he will.
And that's something I don't think many people believed before we saw this today.
Well, and that's what's dangerous when you see how they set up these hundreds when that's not even their main event. So assuming they're hitting their taper right, and this 100 is still just a preview of what's to come, I think that 200 back's going to be a good one.
He could be 4 years ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he was already saying, this is just to get the experience, but I think he might get the experience of the Olympics, too.
This is like Aaron Pearsall 2000 to Lenny Krayzelberg.
Oh, yeah.
Pearsall was 17 when he makes that Olympic team for Sydney and then takes a silver there. I'm not saying that scenario is going to unfold, but there are some parallels that you can run with that. Yeah.
Last event of the night was the 100 backstroke on the women's side semifinals, and this was a really good one. A little interesting shakeup here going into finals tomorrow. Missy Franklin on top, 59.06, and she swam that right after she saw Rachel Bootsma 59.10, and then Olivia Smoglia coming in for third.
Yeah, John, you were basically saying this is the race of the meet for you, and they basically setting it up really well.
The thing that's different about what I thought this would be a 3-woman race, if not 4, and now it's almost a 2-woman race, because Natalie Coughlin is in, unless she's really holding her cards close to the vest and not showing anything, she's in trouble here. She didn't look great in the 100 fly. She's 1:00.06 in the semifinal, slides in as the number 7 seed. Something's not right.
And we spoke to her after that race, and she played it. She said it felt about a 1:00.06, right where she needed to be to make it back. But like you mentioned, at the 50, she's normally out there aggressive. And now that we've seen this front speed that Rachel Bootsma's throwing down with a 28 point, I think everybody else was a 29 mid. So, it's going to be interesting. Like you said, Coughlin coming back 7th tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd like to think that I'm wrong on this and that Natalie's going to be there, but I don't buy that was just doing enough.
Yeah, and but I don't count out Natalie.
No, you
Not at all.
I'm not going to count her out.
There's 11 Olympic medal reasons why not.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, if we don't, I think if we don't see her first or second at the 50,
mhm.
then she's out of
Then
it
it's
because that's not. I mean, she swims it,
She doesn't come
and
from
everybody
behind.
catches her.
Right.
She does. She never comes from behind.
And like you said, she had that 100 butterfly before it,
Mhm.
so that's the whole factor that
Yeah.
those other girls didn't have, and that she
But there
won't
was a
have.
lot of time though.
Yeah, it was about
there
an
was
hour
a good
and a half.
hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So every little bit matters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know.
Mhm.
She gets to sleep in tomorrow morning, so that might
Right.
help her.
Well, that wrapped up the prelim session, and tomorrow's going to be a short day. We've only got 3 events: women's 200 free, men's 200 fly, and women's 200 IM. Predictions?
Interesting to see the women's 200 free come right back off of the 400 free. So we'll see Allison Schmidt right back at it, and
And
God,
it's going
she
to be
was-
aggressive.
yeah, she was 155.0 in the Longhorn Invitational about a month ago. So I would fully expect her to be 154 by the time the final rolls around.
But I think Bob Bowman's going to tell her just ease off a little bit.
Thanks.
Just
In the morning.
in the morning.
Yeah.
Just get top 16, and Allison will probably burn it up in the semis, and just send a message to Pellegrini and Mufala that
mhm.
just like I did in the 400, you guys got to worry about me.
Yep.
All right, so make sure to watch all our coverage on Swimming World TV. We have races and, interviews and recaps along the way, so make sure to check those out. You can also follow us on Twitter at Swimming World, or friend us on Facebook so you can follow all that coverage. I'm Tiffany Elias with Jeff Cummings and John Lone. This is Race Day, sponsored by SwimOutlet.com, and join us again for Day 3 tomorrow here in Omaha.